How are y'all doing this morning? Excellent. Good. Well, I'm going to talk to you about value-based selling this morning. I want to talk to you about how to actually persuade a decision maker's mind into obviously what the answer is you want to hear. Okay? And there's some different ways of doing that, and I'm going to share with you the things that I've done that's helped me have some success in my business. Tracy and I had the privilege of hanging out with her a couple of nights ago when we were talking about our business, and she had mentioned that my goal is 75 sales a month. And I had decided that about 10 months ago that if I wanted to qualify for bronze on my own, I should be able to do that. And our compensation plan allows us to do that with having 75 personal sales a month. And a lot of people say, wow, well, 75 personal sales, we know used to be able, or 75 sales, we know used to be able to make you executive director with your team, right? But I thought I can do this on my own too. And of course, still build a team because we want to build a team. And for the last 10 months, I've sold over 75 personal memberships a month. And she's right. It's like you put your mind to it and it just somehow happens. But I had to actually refine some of the presentation skills that I had to make sure that I could do it quicker. Because we know sometimes, like Tracy shared with us, that it will take 8, 9, 10 times to visit with people to try to get an answer. And so I said, well, if I'm going to be able to do those types of sales in a shorter period of time, then I'm going to have to try to make my presentation a lot better. And so I'm going to share with you some of the things that I do, okay, that might help you as well. Because when I'm talking to decision makers, I want them to think immediately, yes, absolutely, don't leave here without me signing up. Don't you? I mean, I want them to beg me, could you please sign me up? I don't want to sell, I want them to buy. That's important. You know, Nick said something, I love listening to Nick. I could sit here all day long and listen to him talk. He's phenomenal. He said those 4 things: no need, no hurry, no confidence, no money. When he wrote that down, I'm thinking, okay, those are objections, correct? Always turn an objection or an excuse into a reason. So when he said no need, I said, well, if they're thinking there's no need, then I actually have to be the one to show the need. Right? When he said there's no hurry, I'm the one that's going to have to share with them that there's a sense of urgency. Right? You understand how I'm doing this? I'm turning their excuses into a reason. When he said that there's no confidence, well, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how's what they're doing right now working so well for them? Right? What we have will actually build that confidence. And we need to be able to explain that. And then when he said no money, first thing came to my mind, because sometimes I can be a little smart butt, if you will. And when I'm thinking when people say, well, they have no money, my mindset just immediately goes to, well, if you think you have no money now, wait till you do one bad decision or make one bad decision. What's going to happen to you then? Right? And so kind of think that way. When they have excuses, you need to turn them into reasons. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into this training now. First thing is, okay, I want you to write this down. Without you showing value, all we are is just a bill. That's not on the screen, that comes out of my mouth, okay? So without value, we are just a bill. And in today's economy, can anyone afford a bill? No. So it's your job to show the what? The value. You got to always keep that in mind. You also have to keep in mind, and Tracy said this and a few other people have said this as well, take your sales hat off, put your consultant or happing hat on. We've got to make it seem like we're out what? All day long helping people. That is our job. Okay, keep that in mind. Also, I want you to keep in mind this, and I've said this at my last couple of trainings that I've did, and I'll reinforce it here later on, but small business has big business problems, but they do not have big business resources, which is what? Money. We give small businesses big business resources on a small business budget. That's what we do. It's our job to explain how we can do that. You want me to say it again? Yeah. We give, okay, let me start over. Small business has big business problems without big business resources. We give small businesses big business resources on a small business budget. That's what we do. And they desperately need us. And we've mentioned this, we have no competition in the small business division of this company. The closest competition we have is $300, $400, $500 an hour. And right now that's not working for them, right? Okay. So I want to talk to you about how are you presenting, okay? Are you presenting for your prospects to actually buy, okay? Not you selling? And hopefully I can explain to you what I mean by this. In my mind, all I want to do is give them information, okay? I want them to think. They can make up their own what? Their own mind, okay? But we need to learn how to, and I mentioned this, help persuade their decision-making mind. Help persuade their decision-making mind. We were sitting in here till almost 10 o'clock last night chit-chatting with a group of people, answering some questions, having some fun. The associates who were here last night, where are you all at? It's quite a few of you here. We had fun sitting here chit-chatting. We were talking about that, how we can persuade people's decision-making minds. Just to give you an idea of what I mean by this. Last time I was here, I was visiting with Alistair and Agar about teachers. Anybody in here teachers besides the lady that was here last night? Okay, and they were saying that, you know, they were having trouble closing teachers, saying that teachers are analytical and they have to think about things. And I was telling them, well, I really don't have a problem closing teachers. And they said, well, how's that? Well, I have to learn how to persuade their decision-making mind, meaning that when I'm talking to teachers in my group presentation, when I start the presentation, I'll say, now I'm so excited to talk to some of the most intelligent people that I get to present to. People like you, when you hear this, you make a decision this quick because you're that smart. Oh, are you getting that? What am I doing before I even start selling the product? I'm stroking their ego. Right? I'm persuading their decision-making mind that that's right, I am smart, and I am going to get this. Make sense? Sometimes we have to just go there, okay? Now, go back. I don't know how he has it set up. Let's talk about some philosophies before I get into this as well. I was taught this years ago by Mr. Kyle Kimbrell. So you have to have affirmations, you have to have philosophies. But the 4 seeds of selling has helped me in my business tremendously. The 4 seeds of selling is this. The first is less is best. Less is best. How many of you have talked yourself out of a sale? Let's be honest. Oh, man. And sometimes, you can literally see the whites of their eyes because their eyes start rolling back, right? And you're thinking, how did I get here? How do I get back? You know what it is? We don't know exactly what to say, so we ramble. Right. And I told you yesterday, you have to know your product. Okay? The knowledge will give you confidence. So less is best, meaning you're going to actually know exactly what you need to say to get in and get out of there quickly. The second thing is create interaction. You've got to learn how to have conversations with people. It's not just about you talking. It's creating that interaction. That's so important. And you guys were doing a great job of that in the room here yesterday when we were doing the role playing with the flip charts. You've got to create that interaction. It's imperative. How many of you would be afraid to stand up here and speak in front of a room full of people? Let's be honest, okay? And I'm the same way. I'll never forget the first time I was asked to go on stage at conference to talk, and I was standing backstage with Mr. Larry Smith and a few other people, and that curtain started going up, and I could see like 10, 12, 15,000 people out there. I said, oh, I can't do this. I told Larry Smith, I said, I'm going to pee on myself. And Larry said, well, you're coming out on stage wet because you're going out there. But the thing about it is, we get intimidated by, speaking in front of people. We're used to having conversations with people though, right? And that's where our comfort zone is, so that's what we need to do. My husband says something that's really powerful. When 2 or more people are talking, it's a conversation. When one person's talking, it's probably a con. Just keep that in mind, okay? Laughter leads to listening. Relax and have some fun with your business. You don't always have to be so rigid and uptight about it. Relax and have fun, right? Be engaging, be entertaining. Don't get weird on people, okay? Really, we do. And like Mr. Sabola said yesterday, if you're not having fun, then you're just enough. Fun spelled backwards, right? And who wants to be enough? It's hilarious. But the 4th step is so important. Selling is not telling, selling is asking. Family, if you want to make more money in this business, you need to learn how to ask more questions. But it has to be the appropriate questions. It has to be a question that you want the exact answer you want to hear. And that's how you learn how to persuade their decision-making mind. Okay? So selling is not telling, selling is asking. Okay? The 3-step sales process. This is another philosophy that I use when I present, which is you ask a question, you give an ownership or transitional phrase, and then you state a benefit. That helps you create a shorter script because you know exactly what you're going to say every time you're going to say it. For instance, when I'm doing a presentation. Let's say if I was talking to Mr. English about consultation, and and I wanted to get my point across to him that consultation is a good thing, I have to keep in mind when I'm doing this 3-step sales process that my question, the automatic response that I want from him is going to be a yes. Okay? Yes, I should have had that. Yes, I would have that. Yes, I needed to have that. My gosh, where have you been all my life, right? That's the kind of thing. You have to peel from you have to pull from their heart or their head when you're doing this as well, meaning tug on that emotion, tug on that thought. It can't just be just an emotionless question. If I was saying to Mr. English, wouldn't it be great to be able to speak to attorneys and not worry about cost? If he's never talked to an attorney before, he may agree with me, but I haven't pulled something from him somewhere to connect him to that. Y'all follow me? But if I said to Mr. English something like, sir, I'm sure you've been in a situation where you've been angry and you've been frustrated and your rights have been violated and you would have liked to talk to an attorney, but you didn't because of cost, correct? Do you understand the difference? Well, as a Legal Shield member, you're going to be able to pick up that phone and call in and speak to your attorney, and you'll never feel like that again. Isn't that powerful? You understand? You're pulling somewhere in that emotion. You're pulling somewhere for thought. That's what you need to think about when you're connecting to your prospects as well. All right? The other thing to keep in mind is this. If you give too much information, it's too big of a decision. Right. If you give too much information, it's too big of a decision. And when the prospect's ready to buy, shut up and sell it. I literally, most of the time, can sell my business plans just based off of the legal consultation for their business. Right. And I was sharing this with the group last night. If I have the brochure out and I'm talking about consultation and they say, wow, oh my goodness, where have you been, right? I could have used this a million times. I'll shut up, sign them up. I don't go on to correspondence. I don't go into debt collection and contract review and, let me show you how it goes small business. No. What I'm doing is I'm now going to give them 10 or 15 reasons to say no. Right. Because maybe only consultation is the only thing they cared about. Right? Now the further I go into the presentation, I've now talked him out of wanting consultation. Because now he's saying, well, I didn't need all this other stuff, so maybe it's not for me. Right? So you have to think about that. When they're ready to buy, just stop, okay? Just stop and just go right into closing them.